Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise. And Mohamed, what do we have today?
Yes, Rana, as you know, the Arab Scout Conference will be held in Sharm el-Sheikh very soon, in coordination with the Arab Scout region and the General Union of Scouts and Girl Guides, with the participation of a number of Arab countries. And then in 2020, Rana, Egypt will organize the 42nd World Scout Conference, which will be attended by more than 160 countries. And in this context, we have the pleasure of hosting with us Mr. Mohamed Mostafa, and he is an international commissioner and vice chairman of the Arab Scout Committee. He'll tell us all about these two important events and everything else about the world of Scouts. Hello, Mr. Mostafa. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Mr. Mustafa. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hello. First of all, you are very welcome in our Giza Sea Scout Association. Is a part of Sea Scout Association in Egypt, which is part of the Egyptian Federation of Scouts and Girl Guides. The Egyptian Federation for Scouts and Girl Guides is a member of the World Organization of the Scout Movement, which hosts 169 Scouts organization or country from all over the world. Each 3 years, the World Organization of the Scout Movement hosts or organizing the World Scout Conference, and one of the members hosting this big event. We 5 years ago, the World Organization is opened the door for the countries or the members to host this big event. 3 countries from the members already applied to host. We are in the World Scout Conference in Azerbaijan, in Baku, from 2 years ago. We was in election for the countries who select this country which hosts this event. We are applying with a big file, and we host the hosting committee from the World Organization come to visit Sharm el-Sheikh and see how the conference hall is good enough to host this big event. How is Egypt is a good country? How is it safe country? And also the Egyptian Federation is a good organization to host this and able to host these events. And then they open the door to voting for the country who's selecting or who's will be hosting this big event. We are in Azerbaijan, in Baku, and right now we are in process to
preparing
preparing.
Yeah.
During our way to preparing this, we as an Arab region hosting the Arab Scout Conference for all the Arab region, 19 Arab countries.
Which is going to be held in Sharm el-Sheikh.
The same position and same place in Sharm el-Sheikh, just to tell the people from the world that Sharm el-Sheikh and Egypt, first of all, rehearse.
Yeah, it's a mini mondial.
Yes, mini mondial, and also it's a very important event for the Arab region because it is a General Assembly for the Arab, which elect the Arab Committee, and also which hosting any country will host a big event during the next 3 years, and also with the policy and the constitutions and everything about the conference.
Okay, sir, I got mixed up in a bit of information. The difference between the conference that's going to be held in Sharm el-Sheikh and the Mondial that the Scouts are going to be participating in. Could you please elaborate exactly the difference between both?
Okay. The World Organization of the Scout Movement, WOSM, normally organizing 5 big events. The first every 4 years to 3 years. Every 4 years we make something like a Mondial or like the World Cup, called in our movement called Jamboree. This Jamboree each 4 years, and also one country from the members hosting this big event. This Jamboree or the Scout Mondial, it's participate something like 65 to 70,000 Scout and youth from all over the world. We just come back to Egypt from 2 weeks ago.
From the United States of
America, something like 286. It's one of the biggest Arab contingent and one of the biggest Egyptian contingent ever before. We starting preparing this team and selecting this team in our Egyptian Federation for Scouts and Girl Guides, and also our international committee. We started to select this very fine select scouts from all over Egypt. We have 286 from girls and boys and IST. We was in participating this big event, and we have 186 participants, ages from 14 to 17, and we have 100 youth from 18 and up. This 100 leaders from 18 and up help the Boy Scouts of America or the organizing committee to help them to lead this big event, because 60,000 scouts in the same place. Any hosting country cannot do it without support.
60,000.
60,000 scouts from all over the world. Coming to in West Virginia in America, and it was hosting by the Boy Scouts of America with the cooperate with Canada and Mexico, and this is hosting by North America. We're just coming, and our youth, which coming from Egypt, was very good selecting, and also very good ambassadors to Egypt. They come with many medals, with many appreciating and many thankful from all over the world.
Great. It's like the national team, because in any sport or something, because I understood that we have like maybe a million scout members across the country, or
we have something like more than a million, but it's not officially registered, but it's but we have a huge number of scouting in Egypt.
Right. Mr. Mostafa, of course we know that scouting is voluntary. It's non-political youth educational movement aimed at developing youth physically and culturally. What else more can you tell us about the Scout movement? Many people do not really understand or grasp the goals of the Scout movement, or the great skills that the Scout movement teaches you.
Simply scouting, it's something like a game or sports way, but by the end, we say that when you start scouting, you'll be always scouting. Start scouting as a boy or as a game, and then we'll be as a good man for the future. So we learn the boys and girls in scouting how to be a good for the future, how to help the other, because we are very well organizing. We have a oath, scout oath. Scout oath called on my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to my God and my country, and to obey the scout law, help all people, keep myself physically strong, mentally away. This means with this oath that you help your country, you help your community, you help your scout troop, you help your school, you help your university, and finally, when you learn this, when you are young, when you become a man, you will be a good man for the community.
So once a scout oath,
sir, I want to ask you a question, please, sir. What is the role played by the scout teams in the service of the society?
Normally, scouting, it's the main slogan for the scouting, be prepared. Be prepared.
Be prepared.
Yes, be ready to help at any time, whichever they're requesting from you. We help our community, clean community, in a health, in any way of help. The community need the help. The scout is ready to help. And when they ask us to help in any branch or any field, we select the people who can help, who's already learn or have some information about the area which they requesting to help in, to be useful to help, not to be just help without understanding what they can do.
Okay, sir. If there is a person, of course, we all of us as human beings, sometimes we get nervous, we get edgy, we get out of control. How can a scout person, and I know it's a very strict rule that a scout person has to be a very good image to the society. How can he always be under self-control?
Yeah, we normally when we deal with the scouts, we learn him leadership skills.
You teach him
communication skills, conflict resolution, and also before we participate in any World Scout event, as you see in my wiggle, it's called some safe from harm.
You say safe
from harm.
From harm.
Safe from harm. This means this general term. This how to be safe from any harm. Can deal with the others, with the boys, with the girls, with the leaders, with the community, with any people. You know how to save the other from any harm, whichever the harm. So we teach them how to deal with us.
I really like the uniform, the dress,
yes,
the colors. So Does each country have a different like uniform colors and stuff?
Yes.
Tell us, why did we here in Egypt choose these beautiful colors?
Yes, in Egypt, in the uniform, we have four different uniforms because the Egyptian Federation for Scouts and Girl Guides consists of four major associations: Boy Scouts, Sea Scouts, and Air Scouts, and Girl Guides. Sea Scouts wearing a white T-shirt, and the Boy Scouts wearing something like a military, brown, and also
Brown or khaki?
khaki.
Khaki.
Yes, and Air Scouts blue, white blue. So they wearing
Girls?
and girls normally they read white. Uh, and our federation, when we participate in a world event, we select one color to be represent Egypt by this color. But in each country, if you see the slogan or the sign for the scouts, if you see here, you can sign the scouts. This means the organization, and this is the country. Each country have a permission, a license to put this sign. We cannot put this sign without permission from the world organizations. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Scout teams have been formed in schools, and within a year, the Scout movement has spread in a wide range across Egypt. How did this take place?
Normally, in each association of Scout Association and the federation, which I told you about before, it's have 26 branch in each governorate from Egypt. Like here in Egypt here we are in like here in Giza, we have Giza Sea Scout Association, this Scout, and we have Air Scouts and we have Boy Scouts. Each school or each club or each association would like to register a scout troop in their association or in their place, we have to get the permission or registered in the local association, like Sea Scouts or Air Scouts or Boy Scouts, and then they get the permission and they get set scout troop from 24 scouts plus 2 or 3 leaders.
Yes, Mr. Mostafa, you've been a scout for how many years now?
I'm very old. I'm starting in 1977. Start scouting.
77, beautiful.
Yes.
Can you tell us what was the golden time for scouts in Egypt and why?
I think it's the golden time for scouting in Egypt when we're starting in 2014, because in 2014 we are celebrate 100 years of scouting.
Yeah.
We was in scouting starting in Egypt in 1914, and in 2014 we celebrate 100 years of scouting. During this time we plan to host the World Scout Conference in Egypt.
Yeah.
This is why we apply to hold. When we win, during this time, I was the golden time for us, because it's very difficult to any country to host the World Scout Conference if they are not able enough, they are not strong enough, the organization are able to host it, and the place and the country, everything is completely 100% to allow the World Organization to host such this event. This time was golden time for us.
Absolutely.
Okay, back again, sir, to the Arab Scout Conference, which will be held in Sharm el-Sheikh in coordination with the Arab Scout region and the General Union of Scouts and Girl Guides, with the participation of a number of Arab countries, of course.
Yes.
Could you tell us more about this very important event that's taking place? And of course, Scouts is something, or is, of course, it's an amazing thing, but it's not really witnessed in Egypt. Will this conference help in the idea of Scouts witnessed more in Egypt, and there's more highlight on you guys?
Yes, Arab Scout Conference is very important for all the Arab countries, because it is the highest authority which give a permission and select the committee. And before we start the conference, normally in cooperation with the World Organization of Scout Movement, we held something called Arab Youth Forum. This is for the youth. Each country from the Arab country must send minimum 2 youth, ages from 18 to 25. This for 1 week before the conference. This comes called a forum. It's something like a small forum. This for to help the youth. Normally the organization sends the high ranks or the high ages people or the high positions, and not gives the permission or not get the opportunity to the youth to participate. When we starting to organize the forum, just to let all the countries send youth to learn, let the youth prepare and learn how they become decision maker, how they become for the future member of the boards, and how they have the high decision taking, and they learn them how to be a useful leader for the future.
And Mr. Mostafa, how old is the youngest scout in Egypt, and how old is the oldest scout in Egypt?
Normally in scouting, scouting ages from 7 to 9, from 7 to 8, or from 6 to 8. This is the brownies, and from 8 to 12, this is Cub Scouts, and from 12 to 15, it's Boy Scouts, and from 15 to 18, it's Explorer, and from 18 to 23, it's it's Rover. It's all these ranks. It's according to the school period, from primary, secondary, high school, and university. And after 23 years old, we become as if we choose to be as a leader or become as a old scouts.
Okay, sir, next year, 2020, Egypt will organize the 42nd World Scout Conference, which is attended by more than 160 countries of all over the world.
Yes.
And I'd like to know more about the preparations of the event. How did Egypt manage to create its own file to host this very special event, which is, of course, worth to mention that it's going to be the spotlight and its importance for Egypt as a country?
Before we started to planning for the World Scout Conference, in 2012, or we was in our Scout movement in Sharm el-Sheikh. We was in a big event there for our scouts. Nobody or a lot of few of tourism and in Sharm el-Sheikh, and we see Sharm el-Sheikh is how it's empty. And our Ministry of Youth said that we must do all our activity in Sharm el-Sheikh to support Sharm el-Sheikh during this time. During this time, we as a federation or as a Egyptian team, we thinking the World Scout Conference, if we bring it to Sharm el-Sheikh, it's world event. We will bring some more than 186 scout leaders from all over the world. This means something like 6,000 from 7,000 participants from all over the world. Each country will come by the highest team, come visit the conference. Before and after the conference, the scout troops and scouts from all over the world would like to visit Sharm el-Sheikh. And what's already happening right now, scouts from all over the world now visit Sharm el-Sheikh continuously before the conference, and also after the conference they're planning to visit Sharm el-Sheikh. And also we are applying to be, we see how our friends from in Brazil, in Korea, in Azerbaijan, how they organizing such this event, how they are planning team, how what's they made in their organization in the country, and we take their experience when we apply for this file. And also when we apply for this file, we've been to Sharm el-Sheikh, we've been to the conference hall in Sharm el-Sheikh, how it's big, and we take all the information about to announce or present it to all over the world, to see that we already have the infrastructure, we have the capacity to host such this event.
Right.
Okay, sir, what about the other international activities that you work on?
In Egypt or in any Scout Federation or Scout Association around the world have international division, which I'm represented here in Egypt as an international commissioner. It's the same position and all over the world, and the World Organization of the Scout movement every year organizing a world events and sends the invitation to all the countries which are member of the organization, and we in Egypt we select the best scouts or girl guides to participate Egypt in such as world event.
Of course, sir, it was a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of Nile Cruise, Mr. Mohamed Mostafa, International Commissioner of the Egyptian Navy Scout. Of course, we have the pleasure to have you, and we had the pleasure to have you in today's episode. And of course, you gave us knowledgeable information about the Scouts in Egypt, and we wish you best of luck and all success and forward always. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be with you, but I'm the International Commissioner, not for the Navy Scouts. I'm International Commissioner for Egypt Scout Village.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. Thank you for
Thank you
hosting
so
us.
Mostafa
much.
was also the vice chairman of the Arab Scout Committee. We want to commend your efforts really in gaining the honors of making Egypt host the international conference next year in 2020. And good luck, and we're sure you're going to make Egypt proud.
Yes, and you're going to
Thank
be
you very
back
much,
again
Mr.
here with us
Mostafa.
in Nile Cruise to tell us more about the achievements that you actually.
Inshallah, thank you for hosting me, and I would
Thank
like to thank you for your hosting us, and I
Thank
would like
you,
to
sir,
thank
and good luck.
my team, because we have a big team. It's not me only, but I have a big team to for host such big event. Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Please, if you stay with us, we'll be back, Rana and I, here on Nile Cruise momentarily. Don't go away.
Thank you so much.